There we go.
Hello, Greg 3G.
Hi, Katie. Nice to meet you.
Hello. I would advise don't change your name to 5G because there's a lot of conversation about that right now.
Yeah. And the one problem is being 3G means that I'm just not up to modern 4G LTE standards. So it's
No,
a
you are good enough, and you are good enough, and you possibly aren't like uh, hurting our lives.
I like to hope so.
I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of like we were already having a tough not pre-pandemic.
hmm
And boy, has it gotten even more interesting.
I swear things have just gotten insane for us. I'm sure that, for you guys, it's probably gotten just as insane for sure.
Look, I come from a Republican family, and my parents voted for Trump, and I did not. And was always been the black sheep. But I hear both sides, and there's a it is the wild west concerning thought these days.
Oh my
You
gosh.
just
Yeah.
learn how to think a little bit for yourself, but it's hard out there.
For sure. Well, first off, how are you? How are you doing? I know that you guys are doing your media rounds now, but
We don't
how have you
answer
been
that
feeling?
question. That would be the whole interview. Yeah, no, like when you just ask someone a casual, how are you feeling these days? It's like, do you want to open Pandora's box? It's, I'm okay. I'm grateful. I've found some silver linings, but I've had some meltdowns for sure. I mean, you just feel really overwhelmed sometimes. And I
Mhm.
think that feeling is general when you're pregnant. And I'm pregnant. And I think people that are not pregnant feel overwhelmed. So it's just, we all leaned on a lot of stuff. Let's
Mhm.
say that. So we had to find our balance. And some of us have found it, some of us haven't, and that's okay too.
Oh yeah, totally. So you guys just wrapped up the filming of American Idol season
Yes.
3, and that finale was awesome. Considering you guys totally threw it together in like 2 weeks. You said it was a quick pivot. How did that all come together?
Yeah, we had 2 weeks to think about what we were going to do. Were we going to cancel the show? Were we going to go do the show on Zoom? Like, what technology can we access to make this still look, interesting? And the team was amazing. And then we shot from home for 4 weeks, and I shot from Orlando's his office in the house. I moved all of his stuff out. I was like, don't look at anything I'm doing. Don't worry. It'll all be put back. It'll look as though no one ever touched it. It's like like moving a man cave. Oh my God. It's like traumatic. Um, but we did it, and I thought I was really proud of how it all came about. And it was bittersweet because you weren't able to really properly say goodbye to some of the people you got so invested in. And then, you tell someone they win at the very end, and it's like, and then it's over. It's like, we ain't going to no Olive Garden after this even.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a historical idol for the books. But I'm grateful we get to do another one. So
I know, season 4
yeah,
next year.
we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Who know? Who knows what this year is going to be about? So it's really a kind of go with the flow, take it one day at a time type situation.
Have you guys kind of started talking about what the audition process for season 4 is going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, we got to have a plan A, B, and C. But the one cool thing is that, like, we've been at home, so people hopefully have been, you know, playing instruments or thinking about all those dreams they put on a shelf and thought they had access to them at all times. Hopefully they see now is the time more than ever when we do get our basic freedom back to go for it. Like,
Mhm.
who knows when it can all be taken away from you, and maybe a virus will do that, maybe something else will do that. Like, just one life to live. That's
Mhm.
the feeling, and that's kind of what Daisies is about as well.
Oh yeah, and in fact, there was a piece of advice that you gave Just Sam during her audition process, where you told her, remember where you came from and where you want to go. And I had that in my mind when I was listening to Daisies, because it's such a similar message. How has mentoring contestants on American Idol changed the way that you write music?
Oh yeah. Well, it really gives me gratitude, even more gratitude, and reminds me how far I've come and where I came from and what I used to think and how I used to go about life and what life really is, and to really, embrace change and be open and stay open. But every time we go through the audition process, I just see myself so much so in these kids. And it's amazing because, like, Idol truly creates artists and career artists. Like, maybe they don't have a number one song the moment, the show ends, but like people get signed, they get record deals, they get, like, Gabby Barrett was 2 seasons ago and she just had a number one country song. Like, stuff does happen after this. And it's the only show of its kind that really kind of finds true artists. And even more so in this new iteration of American Idol on ABC, and with us as judges, this is not a karaoke show. Like, you don't just sing, you check all the boxes of being an actual idol, or being an actual artist. And so a lot of true musicians and singer-songwriters are trusting us as a platform to launch now, and they realize they need it. You can't just go on Instagram, you gotta do more. You can't just, like, people like do the craziest stuff online and you're hot for 5 seconds, but you gotta keep it going.
There's
Keep
got to be that lasting success on
Yeah.
top of your initial success.
Yes, 100%. And I think Idol gives a great platform to launch, um, additionally to your own social hustle or live show hustle or
Mhm.
song hustle. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. What are you guys hoping for season four?
That we can do auditions in person. Going back to the basics. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a plan. So we'll see what that is. ABC is the plan. I mean, that's also the network, but we're having plan A, B, and C. And just, we like, there's a lot of uncertainty that surrounds 2020. So we're just going to go with the flow, and we're going to be malleable, and we're going to be a team player. And that's what happened, is we all became team players. And that's why the show turned out so great.
Oh, for sure. Now, going back to what you were talking about with this individuality, that was also very present in the music video for Daisies, was this celebration of individuality, of womanhood, of motherhood. How, yeah, yeah. What were you thinking when you were making the music video?
I mean, I wasn't thinking I was going to be making this type of music video. Originally, I was coming home from promoting Never Worn White, and starting this whole process from Australia on March 13th. And that's when it all kind of went wild. And so I was planning on shooting a whole different music video. I wasn't planning on being so raw and in nature. And I mean, we didn't really have a plan, and we had to super pivot. And so I was in Santa Barbara, and the hiking trails and the beaches were still open for that county, as long as everybody was being, like, safe about it. And so I had gone on a walk, and I had literally seen a field of what I think are daisies, but may have been sunflowers, but nobody cares. And I called my friend who is quarantining 3 hours away, and I said, "Hey girl, I know you're good with your Super 8 camera. Big record labels, they will not insure music videos right now. No one's insuring anything right now. And we get it, right? And so therefore you can't do, like, these big worlds and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, but I'm not going to put out a song without an interesting visual. So I'm going to do my makeup. I barely know how to do my own hair. I'm just going to go out there in my nightgown and steal some shots from the outside world, kind of guerrilla style, and get back to the basics. And it feels really raw. And I guess that's interesting coming from me, who's not not that raw all the time. I don't know. Cause I am a more is more type of person.
One of the things that you were talking about was that you wrote the song prior to all of this happening, obviously. How's the song's meaning changed for you now that we're in like a post or current COVID world?
Yeah, I guess the meaning really changed. Actually, it took on a new meaning. I mean, it was always about my beginning and always about, every album cycle is a new risk, is a new kind of revelation and like opening up and vulnerability moment. Um, and for Daisies, it was like, I think what happened is that in this quarantine, we've all had a lot of time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in that reflection, you're like, oh man, I've taken some parts of my life for granted, or I've put my dreams on the shelf, thinking I always had access to them. And now when obviously you have a new appreciation for things when they're taken away from you. I mean, we're all appreciating flowers right now, and being outside for some of us. And it's like, wow, we see with new eyes. And so hopefully people go, I'm going to live my best life now when I get my freedoms back. And I'm going to go for it, because who knows what other variable is going to come up in life and try and take that opportunity from me.
Mm-hmm.
And you really only have one life to live. And this is the moment. So it's a no regrets song. And I think we all want to live a better life coming out of this.
Yeah, for sure. And you never know, throughout the process of perhaps writing an album, you could end up becoming pregnant, which which, by the way, congratulations. It is amazing. And
Time to be alive.
yeah, I know. One of the things that some friends of mine just had a baby, and they have a dog, and they were saying that their dog took on this new role within their household of kind of being like a co-caretaker with the baby.
Really?
Do you see Nugget doing that same thing with your baby girl?
Well, she's so protective. I mean, she's got a bark that is louder and bigger than her. She's only 5 pounds, but she's definitely gonna, it's gonna be challenging for her because she's my baby girl and she sleeps right here. We've slept cheek to cheek before. Very ridiculous. And
As dogs do. Yeah, it's perfect.
and I never even knew how important they were until I got one. And she saved my life so many times. If I didn't have her love and serotonin, I don't know where I'd be, honestly. But it's going to be a transition. And the silver lining for me in this quarantine is that I wasn't planning on having that transition until my water broke, and that was probably going to be when I was singing Daisies at the highest note. And then I was going to be like, okay, now I'm going to be a mom. But now I've been able to like transition into living kind of very basically and normally and slowly and, on my own and quietly. And so I've had that test run and grateful for it. And so it's one of my silver linings.
That's awesome. One of the I'm sure you're getting a ton of both solicited and unsolicited parenting advice.
I don't read the comments anymore,
Oh.
but
That's a good way to be, especially in 2020.
yeah.
Lionel Richie gave you a bit of advice, which I thought was really fun, which was wear a helmet. What was the best piece of parenting advice?
But I was like, who wears the helmet? Do I wear the helmet or does the child wear the helmet? Best piece of advice. I mean, I saw my nieces come into this world. I helped my sister give birth in her living room. And now my nieces are 3 and 6. And I just have been able to observe that so closely. I'm so grateful she went first and aspired to be a lot like my sister and the way she's raised her kids. So I'm grateful to have that. And that's really who I look at. But I have a couple of girlfriends that are also pregnant, one that's giving birth at the end of June, and then one that's giving birth, after me, and so we're all kind of in this together, and it's been amazing to lean on. But yeah, I'm sure that, you know, the commentary doesn't stop, but I've always had the most bizarre, craziest, negative, out of this world things said to me, anonymously and or not. So I've got pretty crocodile skin at this point. I'm just like, okay, you live your life. I mean, you do you, I'll do me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, it takes a lot to like offend me, and or not that I'm untouchable. I'm like super in touch with my emotions, but I'm like, I just don't let, I have a sift. So I got a filter.
And having that feeling of gratefulness for the people that are around you that are supportive is so helpful. I've found, you know, when you're in a situation like this where you can't really leave the house, or you're stuck in a, you know, small apartment or something, you know, having that gratefulness that I do have a family that does care about me and is checking up on me is such a, it's so helpful, at least to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always been that way, and we've had to do a lot of work as a family to get there. And not all days are good, and that's okay too. But yeah, I think there's definitely been a deep family bond that's been created over this time that's unlike any 2-week Christmas vacation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Something really beautiful. We all kind of reverted back into our childhood, and it's been a very like intense psychological time. We've all had to face our lives, who we are, our addictions, our habits. It's been real. So I get what why people want to like go out and dance and go to the bar and start drinking once this thing is done, because like we've done it, we have had a lot of time to think,
Mm-hmm.
and we just like, and not all those thoughts have been fun.
Well, your new song Daisies is out now. KP5 coming out August 14th.
Right.
Uh, Katy, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been so much fun.
G, I appreciate you, and thanks for playing Daisies.
Yeah, of course.
And good luck to you. Stay safe, wash your hands, all that stuff.
Oh my God, of course.